my name is Solomon. Um, I lead growth and partnership for Terminal and officially welcome you to today's webinar. Today's topic is of particular interest to me because one, I get to walk you through the best ways to ship items abroad without breaking the bank, or in simple terms, for business owners, how best to make the most profit. Affordable shipping. Most people think transit is the cheapest carrier and it gives me the best return on investment. If they want to send from say Lagos to California, I look through the options and I decide what service gives the most return on investment, and that would be what I would consider as a business owner affordable shipping. But that's not factors beyond just price that you should consider when deciding this call. I will be walking us through exactly what some of those things are. But very quickly, beyond price, there are three key decisions that every business owner needs to note, if not what your revenue would look like. The first is how you pack your items, how quickly it needs to get to the final destination, and what carrier is suitable for, that destination. One, how you pack your item, how quickly it needs to get there, and what carrier is ideal for the destination that you're trying to ship to. Okay, so very quickly, I'll walk us how much good packaging can help you save. So just certain best practices that we advise, every business owner to uphold when it comes to packaging. And the first and most important thing would always be use the right box for the right item. But you'll be surprised just how much this can, cut down on additional costs during your shipping process. So if you have a shoe that comes in its box, and you want to send this item from Nigeria, you want to pick a box that is closely related in size to the exact dimension of the item that you are trying to move. Okay, so very important, pick the right box for the right item. The quickest way to avoid a bulge. So like I mentioned, this item eventually goes through several stages of external input from the location here in Nigeria to when it's in transit. So you want to ensure that you are not these items from point to point. Once it's been consolidated, it doesn't get compressed and then develop bulges. That's another thing to note. Is you want to ensure you're using, and I know this kind of seems pretty basic, but you want to use fragile packaging for fragile items, so or can easily compress. You want to put enough labeling on it just so it informs. Yeah, so you want to ensure that you're using fragile packaging for fragile items. Very, very, very important in this particular instance. Probably the significant thing you want to note is the packaging. Very, very important, because carriers don't just charge you for the items you ship, they also charge you by how much space that item occupies, which means a small item in an unnecessarily large box, an item that is that big, in the right packer for the item. So imagine them same weight, a lot bigger, and the other one. Eventually, once these items are weighed, when you put both of them on the scale, it shows you the same, say 2 kg or 3 kg. Because of how much space one of them occupies, you eventually start getting billed for the other one more. And this is where the concept of volumetric weight comes. So what exactly is volumetric weight? Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Properly understand what or how actual and volumetric weight works. Can we move to the next slide, please? Next slide, please. Understand how weights. Understand that actual weight is what you are mostly familiar with. So a customer walks into your business, they give a box of shoes. It says 8K for you to move. It will cost this and this. Carrier, the typical process. That's what most people are familiar with. However, there is an additional thing most people tend to miss, which is volumetric weight. And volumetric weight is almost like a side of your revenue, because if you don't properly measure this, it could in turn come back to like cause negative impact in your financials. And I'll give an instance of this. You have two customers that are working on the same day. One of them comes pillow, and the other comes with a box of nails. Now, from what you know about how nails are, you can have 100 nails in a very small box. And if you put that on a scale, it says, say, 5 kg in this sense, say four of them. If you're people who, if they send out the receive in the fluffiest pillow, you want to, they're sending you like really, really big, and put both of them on the same scale, and both now, this is the cost of sending the pillow at say 5 kg, and the cost of sending the nail at also 5 kg. Now, what most tend to miss is both items are not occupying the same amount of space. Okay. In turn, if you end up pricing both of them, considering the volumetric weight, in this case, how much space will it take to move this item from point A to point B? If you put those pillows in a container, how big does the box have to be to contain all of them? So we're looking at the item and the height of the item. Now, all of these factors are then right. Am I still having audio issues? Donald, could you please confirm? Is the audio clearer now? Just give me a thumbs up if it is. If it's not, yeah, apologies, guys. Try and ensure that my network is a lot stable. Okay. So yeah, so once you consider both measurement, the actual weight and the volumetric weight, you are in turn, the carriers look at the numbers is once they want to put the item on the scale versus what volumetric weight is, which is the dimension of how much space that item would occupy. Whatever value is higher is usually what you get charged with. So even on the weight of less cases of, say, weight discrepancy with them, is because those items, when they are weighed by the volumetric measurements, they tend not to be as high as the actual weight. So it just passes off, like all you need in that case is the actual weight. But in both the partners and also by, very important that when you are getting measurements or before giving pricing to your customer, you want to confirm what the volumetric weight of this item is, which is how much space it takes. So yeah, it's very, very important that when you are implementing the proper to ensure that you are also selecting the right carrier, because that can also play a cost of the item that you will be sending. So I had mentioned three things that we needed to note, which was one, the packaging. The second is the right carrier for what you're trying to send. Okay, and so we're going to cover the second part of this. Is my audio coming through clearly? Can you guys still hear me? Awesome. Thank you, Donald. Okay, so how then do you decide what's the package? Okay, and it's very easy. Every falls within two major categories. Or you're moving it as a cargo service. Now, by default, express are usually for. This is great for, say, small and urgent parcels, and by small, I mean between. Sure, we can share this with you. Our marketing team would put out communication on how you can access this. By small shipments, I mean, say, anything from 0 to 25. So when I say small, I don't mean 0 to 2 kg. So express shipment is great for up until that level, which is like the ideal amount for each box. You have like really heavy duty items, commercial shipment. You want to move 250 kg from Nigeria to Nairobi for a textile customer, or you want to move it's a particular type of hair to a as high as 300 kg. You move away from the express service. Money. So in very clear terms, what do these options look like for your typical carriers, which is most people are already familiar with: DHL, UPS, FedEx, Aramex, or whatever variations of this are currently available on the platform. Now, one of the advantages of using Terminal is that you Express is like an independent service Terminal provides. You have STN and a couple of other services that have been listed recently. Now, if you've been using 2 to 3 weeks. You see a couple of additions. One of them is Parcels Express, and the other is the Hallcrest. Now, Hallcrest is primarily for heavy duty packages to the US. So typical that most businesses are familiar with. And then for small packages, say from 0 to 9 kg, we introduce parcels. Next slide, please. Volume. So it's uniquely positioned to be in what an express service can be and what a cargo service can be. So it is almost as affordable as shipping via cargo, but almost as quick as shipping via the express service. Okay, so for customers who, when that item is moved with UPS, FedEx, or with DHL, they just want their item to be delivered, and they are not really under super urgency for the item to be delivered within a certain range. Parcels becomes your best option. More on costs, because it services from DHL, UPS, but quicker than what you get from a cargo service. Okay. So parcels also allows you to have doorstep delivery. So it's not like cargo or some cargo services where eventually you have to get to a final hub for ensuring the item to the final customer. It's literally one cost that moves the item from point A here in the origination country of Nigeria down to either the US or the UK, which are the two routes that are currently available. Between 4 to 8 working days. So very important that we take note of this. 4 to 8 working days, not 4 to 8 days, just so we can manage expectation for you and also for your customers. Packages depart every week. They're out from either Lagos or Abuja. Will be available to you once you try to process with this service on the terminal platform. You will see drop-off locations, either more within Lagos and also within Abuja. So very important to note, this item takes around 4 to 8 working days and is almost certainly cheaper than what you get for an express service. So time sensitive, and when I say time sensitive, I'm not saying this is not fast, but you're not going to get it in 2 or 3 days like what you get for a typical DHL shipment. However, you will get it within 4 to 8 working days. So from the time you drop the item, this service is available for both the US and the UK. Final delivery is done by DPD in the UK and by UPS in the US. Delivery timeline is between 4 to 8 working days. Again, typical days. These parcels are also shipped out every week. The time delivery doesn't count against you. We have drop-off locations in both Lagos and I guess one of the most important things that we need to mention here is this service has zero risk of weight discrepancy. So whatever it is you declare as the weight of the item when you're sending it will be what you eventually would pay. Nothing agency, you're only paying the shipping fee and the.
Okay, hi everybody. Good afternoon. My name is Adeze, and I'm head of operations here at Terminal. Unfortunately, our host is experiencing some network issues, so I'll just step in here. Yes, right. So essentially, he's introducing some of the new services that we have on the platform, one being Parcel Express, right? Just like he said, this service is available to the US and UK. Weekly departures, the cutoff time for Parcel Express is on Tuesdays, and this is because processing happens on Wednesdays, right? Parcel Express does have a maximum weight, right? For US, maximum weight is 9 kg, and for UK, maximum weight is 20 kg. We know that with other services, you tend to experience weight discrepancy challenges, especially when the shipment is already in transit, right? But with this service, once the weight is verified at the drop-off location, no additional reweigh would happen and be billed to your account, right? So this was one of the reasons we partnered with these service providers to be able to offer you a discrepancy proof service so long as you're declaring the appropriate weight. Yes, so just like it says here, the drop-off locations are Lagos and Abuja. When you're booking on the platform, you will see the available drop-off locations in the respective states. And yes, it is ideal for personal and small business shipments because, like I said, there is a maximum weight threshold. Once again, USA, the maximum weight is 9 kg, while for the UK, it is 20 kg. Please, next slide. Now, for Hallcrest Cargo, this is a cargo service, so it works typically the same way you expect your cargo services to work, but you do have end-to-end tracking. Same thing for the previous service that I just mentioned. The cutoff time is also on Tuesdays, and you have weekly departures where it is processed on Wednesday. Drop-off location is currently only available in Lagos, and this service is currently only to the US. And it is from 10 kg, parcels weighing 10 kg. Next slide. And in light of all of this, we do have a new hub. I'm sure you would have seen the notifications that have gone out, and you would have also noticed during the booking process that there's a new facility in Oba where you can drop off your packages if this is the location that is closest to you. So feel free to drop off your packages at this facility and it will be processed. So your DHL, FedEx, Terminal Premium, Terminal Express, Terminal Freight, whatever the case may be, we do accept these packages. Just make sure that during the booking process, you're selecting the correct location you want to drop off at so that they are expecting your package at that location, right? We also have a couple of new locations coming up in the coming month, so be on the lookout for these other locations. Yes, next slide. Okay, I think with the absence of any questions, we can wrap it up here. Thank you, everybody, once again for joining us. And I apologize once more for the network issues. The team will do their best to get the necessary materials across to you guys so you have something to reference to. But if you have any other questions or you want to make any inquiries or something wasn't clear to you from what we discussed here, please feel free to reach out to us and also join our WhatsApp community. You can ask questions and more information will be passed through that channel, okay? But yes, thank you everyone. Do have a good rest of your day. Enjoy your weekend. We're waiting to receive your packages, help you process them. And yeah, thank you for joining this session.
Thank you.
Thank you.